Hi everyone, so today's lesson we're talking surface area again, so it's surface area of a cylinder this time. Okay, right, so the first thing I want you to think about is the surfaces of a cylinder here. So if you look at the first one, so we've got a cylinder here. If I was to stretch that out as a two-dimensional net, this is the shape that we would get here in the second shape, okay? If I was to cut that open, lay it out flat, that's the shape that we would get. So we've got three things to work out here. So we know how to find the area of a circle. So it's pi r squared. So again, this one's identical, so we can just double it. It's going to be pi r squared again. So this time we've got a height, but we need to think about what that distance there to there is going to be. What that distance there is going to be. So if you go back here, if I was to cut that down, stretch it out, the length of that rectangle is going to be that area there. So it's going to be the length of that. In other words, it's going to be the circumference of that circle. So the circumference of a circle is pi times by diameter. So that distance from there to there is my circumference of the circle, which is pi times diameter. Okay, so let's have a quick example. Okay, so let's have a go at an example here. So we've got a cylinder with radius 10 centimeters. So that means my diameter, double it, is 20 centimeters. Okay, so we've got three faces. We've got two identical circles, and we've got a rectangle. So let's call our two circles 1 and the rectangle 2. So let's work out the area of the circles first. So it's pi times radius squared, so it's pi times 10 squared, which is equal to 100 pi. So for one of the circles, it's 100 pi. We're going to double it because we've got two identical, so we've got 200 pi. For the rectangle, so we've got a height of 18. Now remember, the width then is going to be the circumference of the circle, so it's going to be times pi times by diameter, which is 20. So that's going to give me 360 pi. So to find the TSA, total surface area, add them together, we've got 560 pi, and my units centimeters squared. Okay, so part 2, just press your SD button. So you've got 560 pi, and then press SD, and to three significant figures, it's 1760 to 3SF. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at the your turn, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, so let's find the area of the two circles. So we've got face number 1, which is my two circles, is pi times by 8 squared, which is 64 pi. And again, we're going to double it because we've got two identical circles. So double it, we get 128 pi. For a rectangle, so we've got a height of 18 times by the circumference of the circle times pi times diameter, pi times diameter. So we've got 18 times 16, 288 pi. So for TSA, add them together. $416 pi, and my units centimeters squared. Okay, so again for part 2, for three significant figures, all you need to do, press SD 416 pi SD. So to three significant figures we get 1310 centimeters squared. Okay, next question, you need to be careful with when you're doing your quiz. Sometimes you will be asked for an open top cylinder. So what that is asking you to do, so here we've got an outer surface of this open top cylinder. So that means that face there is gone. So we're just calculating one circle this time, okay? So let's call that face 1 and again face 2. So radius or diameter is 8, so that means my radius is 4. My height is 10. So for face number 1, so we've got pi r squared, so it's going to be pi times radius squared, which is equal to 16 pi. So we're asked to give it in terms of pi. Right, okay, so question number 2, or face number 2 then, we've got height of 10 times by the width, which remember is the circumference of the circle, so it's going to be pi times d, so it's pi times 8, which is 80 pi. So total surface area, add them together, so we've got 96 pi. Right, so pause the video again, have a go, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, so this time we've got a radius of 3, diameter 6, height of 16. So to calculate the circle on the bottom, let's call that 1. So we do pi times radius squared, pi times 3 squared, which is equal to 9 pi. And for the rectangle then, we've got a height of 16 times by the circumference of the circle. Remember, the length of the rectangle, when we flatten it out, will be the circumference of the circle. So pi times d. So that's going to give me 96 pi. Okay, so total surface area, again, all you need to do, add them together. So we've got 105 pi, and my units this time meters squared. Okay, so for the last 2 questions on your quiz, you're going to face something like this. Okay, so we're going to break it down. Let's see what this looks like first of all. So give us an idea of how many faces we'll be looking for. So if you can imagine this as a 3-dimensional shape, we've got our 2 identical faces at the front. It's a quarter of a circle. It's a quarter of a circle, isn't it? And then we've got one at the back. Let's call that face 2. We've got the one front, which is face 3, and then the one underneath, which is face 4. Okay, doesn't matter how you label them, so long as you keep yourself correct. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is find the area of the 2 quarter circles. So remember, it's theta over 360, so it's 90 over 360 times pi r squared times pi times radius. So we've got a radius of 10, diameter of 20, and a height of 16. So 90 divided by 360 times pi r squared times 10 squared. Okay, so again we're asked to give this in terms of pi. Right, okay, so we've got, that's 100, and that's a quarter, so a quarter of 100 is going to give me 25 pi. So that's one of those. That's 25 pi. We've got 2 of them. So what are we going to do? We're going to double it. So we've got 50 pi. Right, okay, so for the back triangle, so this one here, back rectangle, sorry. So we've got 2. So we've got a height of 16 times by 10 is 160. Okay, right. The next thing we're going to do is 3. So we've got a height of 16 again, times by, right, okay, so remember this length here, it's going to be quarter of the circumference, so it's going to be theta over 360, so it's 90 over 360 times pi times by the diameter, which is 20. Okay, so that's 16. So that's going to give me 80 pi. Right, and then finally the one underneath, number 4. Okay, so we've got 10 times 16 again is 160. Now, how are we going to add those? So what we're going to do, just like in algebra, we're going to add our numbers together and add our pi terms together. So add those together. 160 plus 160 is going to give me, it's going to give me 320. So we've got 50 add 80 pi. 50 pi add 80 pi is 130 pi. So your answer, just leave it like that, 130 pi plus 320. Right, pause the video, have a go at the next one, and we'll have a go together then. Okay, so let's find the area of the quarter circles. So it's going to be 90 over 360 times pi times radius squared. So our radius is 10, diameter 20, h is 18. Right, okay, so that's 1/4 of 10 again, so 100. So that's going to give me 25 pi. So again, we're going to double it because we've got 2 identical quarter circles, is equal to 50 pi. Case number 2, so the one at the back, we've got 18 times 10, which is going to give me 180 pi. 180, sorry. Right, the next one, number 3, so we've got 18 times quarter of the circumference of a circle times, if you want to leave it just 90 over 360, which is a quarter, times pi times by the diameter. So that's going to give me 4, so that's 18. So that's going to give me 90 pi. And then number 4, base 4, so we've got 18 times 10 again, 180. So again, add your pi terms together, add your numbers together, you would get a TSA of 50 add 90 is 140 pi plus 360. Great. Right, okay, so next thing you need to do, go to Heggerty Maths clip 586, complete the quiz on surface area of a cylinder.